Have you ever considered that failure might be a necessary step on the path to success? Such a thought may be hard to swallow, especially in a world that often shines a spotlight on success while shunning the failures that lead up to it. But let me share with you a story, a personal anecdote if you will, that might just change your perspective on this. A few years back I had an idea that I was entirely convinced would revolutionize the way people do business. I put my heart and soul into it, invested every bit of energy and resources I had. But, despite all my efforts, it flopped. It was a colossal failure. It felt like I had hit a brick wall at full speed. I was disheartened, demoralized, and I questioned everything. But here's the twist. That failure, as crushing as it was, opened my eyes to a whole new perspective. I began to see things I hadn't seen before. I started to understand aspects of the business that had previously eluded me. I learned lessons, hard-earned lessons, that no amount of success could have taught me. And these lessons, these insights, became the foundation upon which I built my next venture, a venture that turned out to be a resounding success. You see, the failure was not the end of my journey, far from it. It was a stepping stone, a necessary step that brought me closer to my ultimate goal. It was a tough teacher, but, as they say, the lessons learned from the hardest times often become the stepping stones to our greatest successes. So, don't be afraid to fail. Don't let the fear of failure stop you from pursuing your dreams. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's not the failure that defines us, but how we rise from it, how we learn, grow, and push forward. So as you can see, my failure was not a setback, but a setup for a comeback. How often do we hear the term overnight success and believe it's the norm? Let's take a moment to debunk this myth. The reality is, overnight success stories are far and few between. In fact, they are as rare as finding a four-leaf clover on a sunny day. Most successful entrepreneurs have a different tale to tell, a tale of perseverance, resilience, and, yes, failure. Take, for instance, the story of Steve Jobs, a household name when it comes to innovation and success. Before Apple became the tech giant it is today, Jobs was ousted from his own company. It was only after years of trials and tribulations that he returned to Apple and steered it towards the path of success we associate it with today. Or consider the journey of Oprah Winfrey, a beacon of light in the world of media. Before becoming the queen of daytime television, she faced numerous professional and personal setbacks. Yet she never let these challenges deter her. Instead, she used them as stepping stones to reach the pinnacle of success. And who can forget the saga of Thomas Edison? Before inventing the light bulb, he endured over 1,000 failed attempts. But each failure brought him one step closer to his groundbreaking invention. These stories underscore a crucial truth. Success is a process, not an event. It's a journey that involves taking risks, facing disappointments, and learning from mistakes. It's about having the grit to get back up when you're knocked down, and the tenacity to keep pushing even when the odds are against you. Remember, no one is immune to failure, not even the most successful entrepreneurs. What sets them apart is their ability to learn from their failures and their unwavering determination to keep going. So the next time you hear the term overnight success, take it with a grain of salt. Look beyond the glitz and glamour, and you'll find a story of hard work, persistence, and resilience. These entrepreneurs didn't wake up one day to find themselves successful. They learned, they failed, and they kept going. How can we move forward if we're constantly looking back at our past failures? A good question, isn't it? It's like trying to run a marathon while constantly looking over your shoulder. It's not only going to slow you down, but it might even cause you to stumble. So here's a simple truth. Failures are inevitable. They are stepping stones on the pathway to success, and making peace with them is essential for progress. Think about it this way. When you learn to ride a bike, you don't just hop on and glide away smoothly, do you? No, you wobble, you fall, you scrape your knees. But you know what? You get back up, you learn, you adjust, and eventually you ride. This is how we should approach our past failures. Not as dark spots to be hidden away, but as lessons learned. They are experiences that have shaped us, taught us, and made us stronger. Now, how do we make peace with these failures? There are a few practical ways. Firstly, focus on the lessons learned. Every failure carries a lesson, a nugget of wisdom. Instead of focusing on the disappointment, zero in on the wisdom gained. Secondly, practice self-compassion. We're often our own harshest critics, aren't we? We need to learn to be kind to ourselves, to understand that it's okay to fail, it's okay to not be perfect. And lastly, set new goals. Don't let past failures keep you stagnated. Use them as fuel to push forward. Set new goals, make new plans, and strive for them with all your might. So, Let's stop looking in the rearview mirror of life. Let's take a deep breath and step forward, knowing that every stumble, every fall is just another step closer to our destination. Remember, your past failures do not define you, they're just part of your story. What if I told you that your ability to keep going in the face of failure is your greatest asset? Yes, you heard it right. It's not your intelligence, your talent, or the resources at your disposal that make the most difference, but your sheer will to persist, to persevere. Perseverance is the unsung hero behind every success story. It's the fuel that keeps the engine of progress running, even when the road ahead seems steep and fraught with obstacles. Let's take a moment to talk about Thomas Edison, a name synonymous with invention and innovation. Did you know that it took him 1,000 unsuccessful attempts before he could create the first practical electric light bulb? 1,000 times he could have given up, decided it was too hard, too impossible, but he didn't. Instead, he famously said, "I didn't fail 1,000 times, the light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps." Or consider J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by 12 publishing houses before Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was finally accepted. Imagine if she had stopped trying after the first, second, or even the 10th rejection. The world would have been deprived of the magic of Hogwarts and the timeless lessons of friendship, bravery, and the power of love. These stories are not isolated instances. They are testament to the fact that perseverance, not perfection, is the key to success. It's about pushing through, even when the odds are stacked against you, even when every fiber of your being screams at you to stop. It's about standing tall in the face of failure, dusting off the dirt and saying, "I'll try again." After all, the true measure of success is not how high you climb, but how high you bounce back when you hit the bottom. It's not about the number of times you fall, but the number of times you get back up. So remember, perseverance is not about never failing, but about getting up every time we do. And that, my friends, is the true power of perseverance. So, how can you start embracing failure as part of your journey to success? Well, that's a question that has puzzled many of us. But the answer is simpler than you might think. It all starts with a change in perspective. Instead of viewing failure as a dead end, see it as a detour, a chance to learn, grow, and discover a different path to your destination. Imagine being an explorer, navigating uncharted territories. Each setback, each failure, is a sign that you're venturing into the unknown, pushing boundaries, and learning. This mindset shift, from seeing failure as a defeat to a learning opportunity, is the first step in embracing failure as part of the process. But it's not just about accepting failure, it's also about celebrating the small victories along the way. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your success be. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Celebrate these moments. They are proof that you're moving in the right direction, that you're learning from your failures, and that you're closer to your goal than you were yesterday. And while you're at it, why not share your journey with others? By being open about your failures, you not only inspire others to embrace their own, but you also create a supportive community that celebrates progress and learning. Embracing failure as part of the process also means not letting fear of failure hold you back. It's important to understand that everyone fails. It's not a matter of if, but when. And it's those who get back up, dust themselves off, and keep going who eventually find success. So, don't be afraid of failure. Welcome it. Learn from it. Grow because of it. And remember to celebrate every step of the journey, no matter how small. Remember, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. So, let's start embracing failure, not as an obstacle, but as a stepping stone on our journey to success.